guys, Renee and Michael here.
Hey, how you doing?
So today we are coming to you with another video on a kind of an interesting topic. What to do when things aren't going quite right.
Yeah, so if you've ever had just things kind of go awry at the wrong time, stay tuned. We're going to talk about a few things that we've done to kind of alleviate those issues. So keep on watching.
All right, guys. So I want to say maybe 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks ago, I opened the door, come to the shop, just normal morning. And I noticed, the first thing I noticed when I opened the door is it smelled funny. So of course, I opened the door, it's still dark in the shop. And then I look around and I'm like, I hear some noise. I hear some dripping. I'm like, what is that? What is dripping? Nothing should be dripping in here. I turn on the lights, and in the back of the shop, the whole ceiling was caved in. The lights were hanging down by a cord, and there's water pouring through the ceiling into the shop. I was just like so shocked. I'm like, OMG, what in the world? Right. So my first thought, I thought a pipe burst somewhere. And so I go to the back of the shop, and the bathroom is destroyed. The ceiling is, caved in the bathroom.
The light fixtures are just hanging.
Light fixtures
like a horror
hanging.
Movie almost.
Right. So I called the landlord, and as it turned out, the night before had been what I thought was kind of a moderate rain. I didn't really think too much about it, but it rained the night before, and apparently there was a problem with the roof that caused the water damage, caused the water to come through. So here we are.
Yeah, right. You're getting ready to start your day, and all of a sudden that. And then also, just to preface this, our building has been under construction for at least a good 3 months, I'm guessing, right? And so we are on the ground floor of an apartment building, basically, which is, I guess, is what this is. It's a big building with 2 storefronts on the lower levels, and then room for apartments above. And when we moved in August, the apartments were vacant. And we were told that eventually, that work would begin to restore the rooms above so that they can be rented out. And of course, that was kind of left vague, and we didn't really quite know, exactly what that meant. We didn't know that it would turn into pretty much a full gut, and even in our back. So even right now, I hate to even say it and kind of put it out there on the internet, but we don't even have a back exit. Right. We have one exit and entrance to the whole building. We used to have a back exit through the building to the alley where you can get out and obviously dump your trash, and all that is gone now. It's completely demolished back there. So they did that. Obviously they tore up the floor upstairs, which is our ceiling, right above our ceiling. So there's been pounding and dirt and dust falling for months, and then this happens.
Right. So that's the topic of today's video. How do you kind of deal with these types of things? How do you work your way through it and kind of manage? So as it turned out, of course, with the ceiling being gone in the bathroom really was not usable. Yeah. So that means you really can't use your shop if there's no bathroom. So,
yeah, that can be rough, right? And especially during a Chicago winter.
And during the winter.
Everything is coming in through the ceiling. You're, just looking up, it's wet, it's cold. Yeah. So that was really bad. And I think the most important thing for us that we realized is just to kind of keep moving forward. The ceiling had already collapsed, and it wasn't our fault or any, probably one particular person's fault. And so I think the quicker you can get over whatever the issue or atrocity is, and work on your plan to move forward, it's going to be better for you. Right. Because we could have sat around and just, woe is me for, 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever. And it probably would have been justified, but we wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Right.
That wouldn't have gotten our orders any closer to being done or anything like that. So, obviously, I'm guessing, as you would imagine, we had to reach out to our landlord and to, begin the work and stuff like that. And I will preface this by saying we lucked out at this particular place by having a landlord who is rather active, I would say.
Yeah.
If we call him for something, may not be here today, but he'll be here within that next day or two. Within 48 hours, I would have to say anything that's gone wrong has, if not been fixed, either has been addressed at least.
Yeah, he's pretty responsive.
So I do give you that in this video. If you're sitting there screaming at your screen saying, hey, I barely see my landlord, or we don't even speak the same language, whatever it is, I will preface by saying that we do have a rather active or involved landlord, I would say. But then also that does go with my first point, is just to have a good relationship with your landlord as much as you can. And I know, I'm sure I'm looking directly at you, I get it. I get it. And you're thinking, I'm paying this person, X amount of dollars per month, or this company, whatever it may be, and however it goes. We get it. We've dealt with poor landlords before, and as a tenant, who's paying rent on time, you should, be able to get things done or get things addressed. But it always is going to help if you have a good relationship with the person. Yeah. People have been saying you catch more bees with honey than vinegar since, time immemorial. And it's just because it's true, Just because we pay rent on time every month doesn't necessarily give us the leeway to do whatever or say whatever to our landlord, or kind of, treat him any old kind of way, because in the event that something happens like this, we really need him to, get on his game and turn it around and get it fixed for us. And so I would say things are pretty good, with our landlord. It's not like we're on, we're not calling each other for dinner and stuff like that. But at the same time, we're always cordial. We're always nice. There is a slight language barrier there, but we, don't really try to push that issue or make it awkward or anything like that when he comes around, because when we need something fixed, he's right there. And technically, he probably could have waited a few days, to get that ceiling fixed. And he actually put the tiles up himself. So this, and previously, like, our furnace went out, I would say, I don't even know how long ago at this point. But the furnace did go out once, and he had a crew come in the next day with a whole new furnace. And they walked it on in there, hooked it up, and walked that old one right back on now. But the fact that he came to do the ceiling himself showed at least that he's willing to work with us, and that he values us being here, and he at least values the partnership that we have right now while his building is under construction, and that's key.
Absolutely. So first thing, like Michael said, we know that whatever the situation is probably frustrating and upsetting, but the quicker you can kind of get over that and start to move forward, the better. So the first thing that we had to do was clean up, to try and understand what all the damage might possibly be. There was still water coming in, so we had buckets everywhere and trying to mop up and all of that. But the next thing is, hopefully you don't have anything that's urgent, that's due that particular day, but if possible, try and think about, do you need to contact customers to renegotiate due dates or push that back or something like that. We did not have any damage to any equipment. Where the water was, there was a lot of apparel and t-shirts and things like that, but no equipment damage, thank the Lord. So one of the first things we did was we went out and bought some tarps
to secure all of our equipment. And I would definitely say that probably should be something that you want to think about in the beginning when you're moving into a new space. is having something to be able to secure your items.
Yes.
And so it's nothing fancy, so it's not really worth showing, but you all know about our embroidery machines, and we went out, grabbed some, I guess, painter's tarp or whatever, and covered those immediately. Secured them down, put some little rubber bands and stuff like that, so that in the event that there was more water damage, the things that are most importantly still on lease or on finance weren't damaged for anything like that. And then same thing for your apparel. We kind of learned this lesson a long time ago at previous places to cover all of our garments. And so luckily, even though that area was where our garments were that suffered the most damage, I don't even know if we really threw away much or had to discard
just a few things that got mildew on them, but most of the things, thank the Lord, they were in totes that had tops on them. So although the top got wet, you can just
toss that all over, but the money inside is still good.
Apparel is still good,
right? And then I also just want to circle back to what Renee said in regards to alerting your customers. So it might even be good to have a little I'm gonna say like a procedure almost for when something like this happens, or a closed shop day procedure. Say, meaning you came in on a regular working day and for whatever reason you're unable to work. The power's out, there was a break-in, the ceiling fell through, whatever it is. So understand, you're going to be frustrated, and I would even probably save that frustration until after you're gone for the day. But definitely contact your customers first. Let them know what's going on, because communication is so helpful. And even if it's bad news, I have to imagine most people want that news sooner than later, because you can't do anything with it after. If the deadline has come or gone and they don't have whatever they need, you're pretty much sunk then, But if you can at least let people know, maybe there's things that they can do on their end. Maybe they were, trying to get the items in earlier, and they said, oh, okay, well, don't worry, give it to us in the next 2 days. And that'll still, be good for us. And so that still kind of gives you time to, do whatever you need to do. So just be honest, things happen. Just say, hey, we came in today, 20 minutes ago, we found out that the ceiling collapsed. We're not going to be able to continue production today, X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be, So it may not even be an urgent deadline that you're meeting right then, but you still just want to reach out and say, hey, this is what's happening in our production space, which may affect, turnaround. So we definitely had to hop on that, by email to all of our customers who had anything coming up that we can just say, hey, we're dealing with something, we're trying to get it rectified, but, we'll keep you, posted if this is going to affect delivery dates or pickup dates or anything like that.
Right. Then the next thing is, this is probably the last resort option, but if something happens, say the electricity, the power is out in your shop and you really have something you need, is there somewhere else you can work? This might be like a last resort, but we do have a 15 by 15 inch press, which we could have put in my basement to work. If we had something that was just super, super urgent. But those are some other things you might have to think about. Is there somewhere else you can work temporarily, somebody's basement, garage, something, if you just have to get an order out really quickly?
Other pieces of equipment too, like how you were saying. So, obviously if you're working on heat presses, it's more for that crowd, but the 16 by 20 is probably the most convenient size press, because you can almost just about lay a full t-shirt on there. You have such a huge printing or a pressing space and so, but at the same time, with those big machines, they're heavy. You may not want to move those around all the time, or up and down stairs for that matter. And so we have a 15 by 15 that we use for everyday work. And then this is a small little guy over here. I'm guessing this is maybe a 12 by 12 press, which is super, kind of hobby status. It's really small, but in the event that you really need to use it, it can be picked up with one hand, transported wherever, and you still have that space, that pressing space to actually get the shirt done or whatever it is. So I would say, obviously, thinking about your budget and stuff like that, but maybe consider making your shop as mobile as possible. You know, being able to kind of pick up your vital pieces of equipment and move it to wherever you may need to temporarily. So that's just a little idea. Don't spray it for all the biggest machines or press with the air power or something like that if you're not going to be able to use it in the event that your space is compromised.
Yeah. So those are just kind of some of the tips that we have for you, just for some situations that we ran into recently. If you're in a type of situation now with us, it's just the two of us here. But if you run into a situation where one person is sick, I got COVID after our Miami trip. Now that presents another challenge, but if you think about it, we were able to continue working with Michael here at the shop. Of course, I was not here, I was at home. But if we had any questions, we would FaceTime or
big on that, yeah.
Had several phone calls throughout the day. And it actually worked out well. We were able to continue on with production. So the main thing is you just have to be flexible. Think of all the options that you can. If you make sure you're in good communication with your customers, your landlord, your business partner.
And cross-train if you can.
And just cross-train and try and work it out as quickly as possible and just keep going.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Yeah, keep going. Think of all of your solutions first, and whenever you're done for the day, then, grumble into your pillow about how frustrated you are that your ceiling fell in or the power went out or, whatever it is that's outside of your power. There's only so much fussing you can really do about it until you really have to start, gearing up again to keep moving. So, keep those things in mind. Just like Renee was saying, get your cross-training game, work on your communication, keep going, keep your head down, and just keep working. And, hopefully these situations where you're ceiling are falling in or you're losing power won't be as detrimental to your shop.
Okay, guys, thanks for joining us for today's video. If you can, please like and subscribe, and we hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.